I love to gaze into my fish tank at night. When the bright lights are on for the plants, it's like, I don't know, it's harder to sit here and stare into it. So at night when it's just the lamp light. And they're all still so active. It's my auto school. Working on the glass in the front finally. I guess the lights have to be off for that. We've got, that's an ocean jasper. That's an ocean jasper. I think that's an ocean jasper. It's a kind of jasper. It might just be a cool agate. I don't really know where it came from. SpongeBob's house. I put some apogeon hybrid. I put some bulbs that I thought had died because I treated everything with copper and it killed most everything. So I thought the bulbs were dead, they were ugly, but I thought maybe they're still alive because they weren't stinky. So I threw them in the SpongeBob house and they're growing. And I hope that they spit out and it looks cool someday. Move your hind knee. Move your bottom. Anyway, I told you about the corydories, but I don't think you saw them in that video. So I wonder if this will let me zoom while it's filming. This is one of them. I just found out that they will sometimes spawn for you. I'm trying to find, where's the school? There's a couple. Sometimes they'll have babies if the parameters in the water are right. And when you do a water change, like if the new water is kind of cold and it does a quick temperature drop, it'll mimic the rainy season in their brain. It'll trigger their spawning. And I don't really know how to tell boys from girls, so I don't know of my school of 6 what I have. I panic though, because all day when I sit and gaze, I'll try to count all 6 of my cories, and they're hard to find in the substrate. And I'll just panic because I don't know why I have it in my mind that they're so delicate and I have to worry about them, but I constantly just go through and count cories. Oh, children. Give me just a minute. Why? Oh. Blue. Get your tail out of your bowl. Which brings me to the point of the video. By the way, this is how cats say fuck you when you touch the spot that used to have a leg in it, but is now just tummy. I don't even know if that showed it. It's a big nasty. It bled for ages. And I realized I have never purchased Band-Aids. I just don't have them. And I got to thinking about it as an adult. I've never purchased them for my home. I use maxi pads. Okay, so the cat food thing brought me to the real point of why I did this. Now that I'm doing it, though, I just want to introduce you to all my species of plants and critters. Anyway, so, I mean, I wanted to talk about, like, diet and exercise. Because I'm often on about what I tell myself about those things. And, I need to just remember kind of the consent, like the general, keep it simple, you know, and I feel like I can kind of verbalize that right now. And I want to say, you know, I spent a lot of time talking about, is this upside down? Gosh darn. Okay. I spent a lot of time talking about, you know, the kind of folly of paying somebody to tell you what's wrong with you. I talked about sort of, you know, we go to people with specialists, health and wellness specialists, to tell us what's wrong with us, and the focus is really on identifying the problem, diagnosing, and treating. Whereas I think it's pretty well established, at least in my mind, that we find the most benefit kind of when we accidentally fall into it, when we're coming from a point of curiosity, and when we're coming from a standpoint of how can I learn from this versus how can I just focus in on what I perceive as being problematic, and then like how do we fix it? What's a quick fix to get you back to work? And that same kind of issue comes up when we talk about a lot of diet and exercise. So there's a lot of, I guess, eat this, not that, or like there's this one size fits all for nutrition, and there are these different schools of thought about macro versus micro, nutrients. And then there's, the way of thinking that like when we consider those in combination with gut bacteria and the biome of the human body of any living organism, and then we talk about like, is meat healthy? Is that good for optimum health? To have that in our diet, and they have these numbers of like how many, hours, or like how long you need to have your heart rate at what elevation for how long in order to maintain a healthy heart, maintain a healthy system. And it's just, there's back and forth. Eggs are good. Eggs are bad. This kind of fat is good. This kind of fat is bad. You don't really need to focus on the macros as much as you need to focus on the micros. And then there's the flip side of that if you get your macros just right, your micros will fall in line. So as far as like how to meet that need is also something that we pay for instead of figuring out, what my body needs. Because there are people that do super well on a vegan, a meat-free, animal product-free diet. And there are some that want to and wholeheartedly, do it for health as well as, a sort of an ideology or a framework for how they look at life and how they make meaning in life, how they make meaning of their experience. But it doesn't work for their biology, and they cannot be healthy without, the nutritious parts of like why, there are reasons why certain people have to have, the combination of nutrients that are only found in animal products, for example. And not all bodies are going to be the same. Just like brains aren't going to be the same, and we don't study people who are, quote unquote healthy. You don't go to the doctor and have an MRI taken of a healthy brain. We don't MRI or do other kinds of brain scans on addicts before they become addicts. You can't say that difference in their brain, you have a sample size or a sample study of people that, they're all drug addicts, or some of them are and some of them aren't. And you say, well, the gray matter, there's a difference in this brain, and they all smoked pot. So I guess that's why. Well, I mean, you found a group of people that have found the same kind of fix for their different brain, but you can't prove that different brain wasn't that way before, you decided they needed to go to rehab or whatever. And I know that's probably sounding pretty far reaching, but let's be honest, that is a thing. That is important when we're talking about statistics and measurements and science.